新年快乐 Happy Chinese New Year. You know, I heard for reasons of political correctness that we should say Happy Lunar New Year. I guess this is similar that in some circles, it is now better to say Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. Anyway, while these distinctions don't matter to everyone, we are all different in how we feel. And likewise, if you want to have more constructive relationships with your Chinese counterparts, it's important to be empathetic to how they feel, which is this week's Chinese cultural concept, Wěiqu. Hi, my name is Jing, and I want you to add your voice to our journey into China, because accelerating success through learning Chinese language and culture is about the application of key Chinese cultural concepts in the proper cultural context. So every week, I create a LinkedIn post to get other perspectives about one of 10 Chinese cultural concepts that I believe are misunderstood, but essential for understanding how Chinese people think, why they behave the way they do, and how to create more positive communication patterns that lead to more constructive cooperation. This week's Chinese cultural concept is Wěiqu, which represents how Chinese people feel. You know, the main difference isn't specifically that Chinese people somehow feel differently than you or I. Rather, it's that it's in Chinese culture their true feelings are usually hidden, giving them time to metastasize and result in greater consequences down the road if they're not addressed properly. This means that if you are aware when a Chinese person feels Wěiqu, which means that they feel something is unfair, or they've been disrespected or even aggrieved, then there's an opportunity to correct a misunderstanding. Okay, Julia wrote, it's important to be respectful that there are cultural barriers so you don't overstep your mark. Be considerate that you might never truly know how your Chinese counterparts feel at any state. When someone is feeling wronged, it is first important to consider if making an adjustment will cause your colleague to lose face. If yes, then this will have deeper ramifications, especially if you're trying to restore communications. Yeah, sometimes deepening complex cross-cultural relationships is like the chicken or the egg. When there are very few common interests that are bound by a common ideology or system of values, we need to be more conscientious in our approach to understanding different feelings and different methods for dealing with feelings that are negative. Okay, Guan wrote that it starts with mutual understanding. Therefore, making room and time for letting this understanding flow is an important practice. We should ask open questions if you read there are some Wěiqu feelings and causalities that lead to them. Sometimes it is wise to separate the individual from the group to resolve matters privately. Separating them from the larger group and talking one-on-one will allow that person to save face. So Chinese people are accustomed to masking grievances, so their true feelings are often imperceptible. You know, Guanxi connections by themselves will not reveal someone's true feelings since it is primarily based on face-giving rituals, and the hierarchical separation will further widen this perception gap. Now, as you focus more attention on the things that we discussed in the Chinese honeymoon period, you will also realize why understanding how Chinese people feel through the concept of Wěiqu is consequential, especially for your long-term success in China. Christina wrote, Chinese people are not used to voicing their opposition publicly. Instead, they usually bottle up their emotions. They will keep quiet. Saying no is not an option, as Chinese dislike confrontation and strive to maintain harmony. So it is critical to understand the reason why they often are quiet. If we interpret their silence incorrectly, the problem can escalate and get out of control. You know, we know Chinese people feel embarrassed when they lose face. Their displeasure is often immediate and a defensive overreaction. But we also know that Chinese people cannot express their indignation to a superior, so the embarrassment is hidden. but the negative sentiments or Wěiqu feelings will always remain. So these two extremes are reflected in the level of Guanxi and the hierarchical relationship. The deeper the Guanxi, the greater the backlash, which may be counterintuitive. For superiors, you are likely always going to be oblivious to any resentment or Wěiqu feelings that you cause. Now, if you're an equal or subordinate, you'll definitely receive that reaction more obviously. Therefore, foreign managers often unknowingly cause their Chinese staff to feel Wěiqu because the Guanxi they have is very superficial and they are at a much higher level in the organization, often an expat or a paratrooper manager, which is another situation we'll explore more in my upcoming book, The Chinese Honeymoon Period. Anyway, I'd also like to thank Grace and Ian for their comments. I'm trying to shorten these videos so I don't highlight every comment, but if you follow the links, you can connect with all of our contributors and engage with them directly. You can also share your experience in the comments by clicking the link in the description. So look forward to seeing you on the next post where we'll discuss the Chinese concept of 心态, which is their attitude.